Hi guys, my name's Mia, and I went ahead and just made a quick about me slides for me to run through for my introduction video. So it's very nice to meet you guys. So I want to start off with how would I describe my personality and then how it affects my tutoring. So my five top how I would describe myself is passionate, dedicated, patient, soft-spoken, and kind of sternish. So the passionate, how that's going to affect the tutoring, I'm going to be very on task. And the work and the slides and lectures or anything that I provide you is going to be very well done. It's going to have a lot of effort and attention to it. And I'm going to put that towards you too. You're going to have my full undivided attention. I'm going to be able to answer questions when we're not on on the meeting, and I'm going to be very communicative and expressive. And then I'm also very passionate about the subjects that I chose, especially when it's coming to topics like psychology and social sciences. That is my passion. I absolutely love it. My career goal is actually to become a adolescent therapist, and that's one of the reasons why I am doing tutoring right now while I'm getting my undergraduate and then when I get my master's, so then I can start having practice working with sort of adolescents and emerging adulthoods, especially helping them manage their academics. And so then my second one is dedicated, kind of similar to the passionate in how it's going to manifest in my tutoring. But I'm also, since I'm so dedicated, I'm not going to quote unquote give up on you. I am very much firm in the belief that everyone's smart, everyone's intelligent, and that there's no real such thing as sort of a slow pace or a fast pace. It's just your pace. And because of that dedication that I have to helping people, to tutoring people, I'm not going to be pressuring you to move at any other pace but your own. I'm obviously going to encourage you. I'm going to challenge you because that's how you learn. But I'm also going to be well aware of your limits, and I'm going to go at your pace, and you're going to be the one that kind of decides how fast we go and what we do. And then patient. I'm very patient. If you need more time with something, that's fine. I'll be right there with you. We'll work through it together. If it takes more time than I thought it was, that's fine. I also am very, that patience then also goes towards scheduling problems. Obviously, I don't want to have a student that's constantly canceling on me, constantly um leaving early, et cetera, et cetera. Even though I do understand that there are certain situations that could lead to that, I'm also still okay with occasional last minute late cancellations. Like stuff happens. I'm very patient with that. It does not bother me as long as it's an occasional thing. Stuff happens. You're human. I'm human. Life is life. I'm also pretty soft spoken, so I'm not someone who does a lot of yelling. I'm not someone that gets very angry if someone else is struggling around me or not listening to me, or I'm very um I don't want to say quiet because I can't talk very excitedly. Like if I talk about psychology or Star Trek or Marvel or any of those things, I can get very animated. I can also get very animated when I tutor, but it's never aggressive, it's never angry. It's very much more along the lines of passive, or leading into the kind of sternish is assertive. So like I said, I'm not like angry or mean or hard. Like a strict professor or a high school teacher, that you had in the past. It's not necessarily like that, but I'm also going to try to keep you on task. I'm going to try to help keep you focused. I understand that it's hard for some. I actually have ADHD, so I do understand the whole struggle of the focusing aspect of it. And so I hope we can work on that together and hope we can help each other with that when we're doing sessions. I'm very with the focusing, I'm very the on task type of thing. I'm okay if we get a little carried away with discussions as long as it's still on topic and related to our objectives or goals. During tutoring sessions, I really do not like getting off topic. I don't, but outside of tutoring and maybe if we have a little extra time or something like that, then I'm very much going to be like, yeah, let's get off topic. It's just I very much like to create both a, safe space for you to be you. Like I said, I'm neurodivergent. I STEM. I have trouble with eye contact. I understand all that. So I want to make this a safe space, but I also want to make it a professional space and have a sort of structure to it. And so that's kind of where that sternish comes into my personality. So I also wanted to go over why I'm charging 25 an hour. Um, Qualifications as a tutor, my academics. I am a current undergraduate student. I am technically, I believe I'm at junior standing. And there are certain things that come with being an undergraduate student that are kind of beneficial compared to others, is that I have access to all the up-to-date information in the social sciences, maths, like especially with social sciences and sciences, constantly changing. We're constantly discovering new things. What was factual 5 years ago is not factual now. What was factual 10 years ago is not necessarily going to be factual now. It was factual 20, 30 years ago. Again, it's not going to be factual now. Like Sigmund Freud, one of the founders of psychology, all of his stuff since that time, decades of research, proven almost everything of his wrong. Our fields of social sciences are constantly changing. And so as an undergraduate student, I am learning all of that new information. I have access to all of that new up-to-date information, and it's integrated into my regular day-to-day life because I'm a full-time student, and I'm a full-time student that's a double major in psychology and child development with double minoring in ethnic studies and religious studies. So that means almost my entirety of my course load, especially as someone who's pretty much at junior standing, is in social sciences. I am constantly delving into all sorts of different social sciences topics, such as topics like anthropology, indigenous history, world history, modern world history, US history, developmental psychology, abnormal psychology, cognitive psychology, human sexuality, gender studies, how religion impacts our government and politics, different. I am constantly taking courses like that. And I'm also personally a very research type of person. I am constantly always on my phone or on my laptop, like making sure and double checking what my teachers are putting to make sure that I have the update information. I'm always citing my sources. That's another thing with my lessons, especially since I am an undergraduate student, I will be citing my sources for everything that I use. So let's say I make you a case diagnosis worksheet, like let's say you're one of my psychology tutor students, and I make you a case diagnosis worksheet. I will cite everything where I get the information. I will cite if I got information from any psychology textbooks or maybe websites or the DSM-5 specific studies. Everything will be cited for, so not only to make sure that I'm being held accountable, to make sure I'm not being spreading misinformation, but so then you can start to build resources in these fields of verified and like valuable sources. I also have a 3.6 GPA with an A average in all social science courses. So yeah, and then this demonstrates my ability in general to pass college courses. Most of my classes are A's and B's. I only have, I believe, two C's, one-ish, two-ish. I think it's two C's. And those two C's are in physical science courses, um, like geology, the C in geology. So I'm not going to be tutoring physical sciences, but I have all A's in all social science courses, and I have a mix of A's and B's in child development courses. And also another part of being a child development major, I have to take classes in curriculum building and child development. Most of my classes go from birth to emerging adulthood. So I took actually a curriculum class recently, and it was titled Programming Curriculum of Young Children, but we actually went up to building curriculum up to high schoolers. And then my basic child development and growth course went all the way to emerging adulthood. So I do have a little bit more general knowledge in compared to the average person of just different ways to teach things, different and how to build curriculum. I have a little bit more experience with that, not only in-person type of physical experience with my 3 years of tutoring experience, but also more of an educational, I've taken classes on it, sort of official professional education on curriculum building. And then also I was a substitute teacher's aide, so I have a little bit more in-classroom experience and again, more curriculum building experience. So I do have a better general knowledge of, especially if you're taking me to pass courses in high school or college, I do have more of a general knowledge of what is considered on par, on course for I want to say the majority of the states in the United States. And then I also have access to a lot of resources where I can access all the educational goals for other countries too, to make sure. And I have been taught a lot of evaluation, how to evaluate, et cetera, et cetera. And so I also want to talk about, what does being my student look like? I'm very client orientated. So I always like to have our first session mostly be us sitting down and working out your goals and your needs. So are you asking me to tutor because you need homework help? Are you asking me to tutor you because you're interested in this subject? Like you're not taking necessarily any classes, you're just interested in the subject? Or are you taking a specific class? Like let's say you're taking a developmental psychology class and you want me to follow along on that class. So then I can know the pace that you want to go at, which is another thing important. And so then I can make sure that I tailor any lectures and discussions and worksheets, quizzes, anything like that to your needs. So then I know, okay, if it's just homework help, I don't really need to do lectures. Maybe additional worksheets, maybe additional quizzes on what you've been learning in school. If it's more so you're learning because you're interested, but you're not taking any courses in it, it's going to be we're going to make out our own little course line. I'm going to give you topics and we're going to pick and we're going to create a little schedule together of if you want to do developmental psychology, we'll start off at conception and then we'll go all the way to late adulthood and death. And we'll talk about different topics in between and we'll have those little schedules like first week, second week, third week. And then, but if you're asking me to do along with a class, I will tailor all of the work to what you're learning in your class and to your class schedule. So then it's more of a supplement and add on to that class. And I'm always going to be up to date on information. You're always going to have the absolute most relevant, latest research that there possibly is. Every time I go to reteach something, every time I go to rewrite something, even if I write a lot of essays on adverse childhood experiences. That's going to be one of my focuses in specialty in my major is about adverse childhood experiences and how they impact people later in life. I always, even though I've written probably 4 or 5 essays at this point on it, every single essay, I always do more research. I always go and check. Even if it's like it's only been a semester since I last wrote my other one, still going back, checking all my sources, still going and seeing if there's any new research that may have came out since the last time I looked. I'm also very communicative. I will definitely it really also kind of depends on your comfort levels. So I understand some people, they don't like reminders. It makes them feel anxious. I totally get that. If that's your deal, I won't send you a bunch of reminders. So I will very much be very communicative on your boundaries, my boundaries, what is expected, and making sure that we're on the same basis of what material we're covering, what is expected of me and what's expected of you, when and where, why and how, what is going on, any and all of it. I also am very kind of mentorship. I've been told that I'm very friendly as a sort of educator, tutor, because I started really doing this stuff back in high school, and I have found that I kind of do take on the role of a mentor when I tutor students, because I do take more of a holistic approach. Because like I said in the beginning, I am very let's stay on topic, but I also, again, being in the psychology field and specializing in adverse childhood experiences, I also understand that there are certain things that happen in life that can make it very hard to learn. Certain situations that can make it super difficult to learn. And that's why I take a holistic approach so then I can accommodate that. I never want you to feel like you're less than or missing something because you're not. So that's one of the reasons why I take more of a mentorship and a holistic approach because you can't just take care of educational needs as an educator. You also need to contribute to social and emotional needs. And so I'll also be doing that.